The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning and good to have you with us on this Labor Day Monday. I'm Maddie Jansen, anchoring from home, along with Nicole Gitsky, holding down the fort in studio, and we are headed for a very hot week.
We begin this morning with your 17 Crime Watch. Bakersfield Police were able to make quick arrests following a shooting Saturday night that left 2 people wounded. Now, police were called to the area of California Avenue and 8th Street for reports of a shooting around 11:30 Saturday night. That's where they found 2 people had been shot. Police say victims provided a description of the suspect's car before law enforcement found the alleged gunman and stopped them at the intersection of Union and California Avenue. BPD says officers found a gun and matching shell casings from the earlier shooting. 3 men were arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and conspiracy. Police have not released the suspects' names as of news time this morning. Meantime, police say a man is dead after a shooting early Saturday morning in Northeast Bakersfield. Officers were called to Monterey Street near Union Avenue at about 1 a.m. after a shot spotter activation. The victim died at the hospital shortly after. No suspect information is available, and the coroner's office says it plans to release the identity of the victim at a later time. Now to one of our signature issues at TV 17, Kern's Sober Reality. Bakersfield Police Department held a DUI driver's license checkpoint this weekend, screening several hundred cars looking for impaired drivers. According to BPD, officers arrested 2 drivers and impounded 5 cars in Saturday night's checkpoint on Truxton Avenue near Gastro Park. The 2 drivers were arrested for suspected DUI, while 4 drivers were cited for driving unlicensed. California Highway Patrol also ramped up patrols for Labor Day weekend. We're still waiting for final numbers from their operations.
Your time now is 5:03, and hundreds have been ordered to evacuate after yet another fire broke out over the weekend. The so-called bridge fire broke it out yesterday afternoon in the city of Auburn, just north of Folsom Lake in Placer County. Officials say the fire is spreading to the east at a very quick rate, and there's 0% containment. Officials say there are structures that are threatened, but there are no reports of any that have been damaged or destroyed. Meantime, Cal Fire says a firefighter lost his life fighting the Dixie fire. It's unclear how the firefighter passed away. 3 other first responders have been hurt since the blaze erupted in July. It has scorched more than 889,000 acres to our north and is 56% contained. The fire's destroyed nearly 1,300 buildings, threatening more than 6,000 other structures. And the Dixie fire is the 2nd largest fire in state history and the 14th most destructive. Here at home this morning, containment on the French fire, which is continuing to grow. The containment is continuing to grow, that is. The French fire is still burning west of Lake Isabella. Containment is now at 52%. Firefighters say they think humans caused the blaze, which has scorched nearly 26,000 acres of drought-parched woodlands in the Kern River Valley and mountains up there. Well, signs and gestures of gratitude are appearing all over the Kern River Valley for the firefighters who worked so hard to save homes and stop the growth of the French fire. 17's Christian Galeno reports.
When are you guys are getting charged? Thank you. Same warehouses.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Go get beer.
I don't want to charge them. They saved so many homes for all of the community that it's the least that we can do to give back. Is just, getting a haircut makes you feel comfortable.
From haircuts to hot meals, this is how communities in and around the Kern River Valley are showing their gratitude to fire crews who helped them during a time where residents felt helpless.
It's hot out there, and it's a really extremely hard job that they do, and a lot of people don't realize that. And if they're going back to their camp, sleeping in a tent in the heat, and it's miserable, and you know, the least we could do is make them a little bit more comfortable.
When it's the end of the meal, I say, your check has been taken care of.
Gerald's Diner started a fund with $200 donated by an Alta Sierra resident.
What started with her little seed of saying thank you for $200, which was phenomenal in itself, that she thought about others in her time, that she would do that, turned into $6,000 at one point. So we were able to feed all personnel.
And kindness is contagious.
And we had customers that would be in here eating that would say, we want to pay for their meals, and we'd say, well, they're already paid for. They said, let us donate to your fund.
I got choked up by a fireman yesterday that he got, you know, his eyes watered up, and he just said how appreciative he was that this is the nicest community he'd been to. He said everywhere he turns, somebody's trying to make their day better.
We just have to keep going, just like the residents in Alta Sierra. They kept going too. They said, we want to say thank you. The community said we wanted to say thank you. They just, you know, you just push forward. What else can you do?
And that was 17's Christian Galeno reporting. Meantime, up north, some great news. Residents are returning to South Lake Tahoe as fire crews there continue to make progress containing the Caldor Fire. You can see the welcome home sign set up in South Lake Tahoe. Residents returned yesterday afternoon after evacuation orders were downgraded to warnings. CAL FIRE officials said more than 43,000 people were forced to evacuate as a result of the Caldor Fire, and evacuees from the city of South Lake Tahoe made up about half of that total.
And I'm so thankful that this ordeal is getting close to being over, getting people back in our homes, back in a more secure sense of place is so important.
The threat of the Caldor Fire has not completely vanished, but officials expect the blaze to be fully contained by the end of the month.
And as you just saw, local businesses are showing their appreciation for firefighters around town. But this weekend, the Bakersfield Fire Department were the ones honoring another group. The department held a thank you lunch to honor the construction workers that worked tirelessly to build the 9/11 monument housed at Station 15 in Southwest Bakersfield. Captain Thompson said he appreciates the many sacrifices the crew had to make to meet their deadlines and wanted to honor them in a special way.
And there's no way that we could have had this done without the help of all the union workers donating their time away from their families, away from everything.
This is just one of the many ways the community is paying tribute ahead of the 20th anniversary of the attack of 9/11. We will have an hour-long 9/11 special next Saturday right here on TV 17.
Recapping our top stories on this Monday, Labor Day morning, Bakersfield Police were able to make some quick arrests following a shooting this weekend. Police say 2 people were shot around 11:30 Saturday night in the area of California Avenue and H Street. Police say those 2 people, the victims, provided a description of the suspect's car before law enforcement were able to find the alleged gunmen and arrest 3 men on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon and conspiracy. Hundreds have been ordered to evacuate after yet another wildfire broke out over the weekend. The so-called bridge fire started yesterday afternoon in the city of Auburn, just north of Folsom Lake in Placer County. Officials say the fire is spreading to the east at a very quick rate, and there's 0% containment. Tens of thousands of evacuees are returning home to South Lake Tahoe as crews continue to make progress against the Caldor Fire. Residents returned yesterday afternoon after evacuation orders were downgraded. CAL FIRE officials say more than 43,000 people were forced to evacuate as a result of that blaze. Welcome back here at 551. The city of Bakersfield is holding drive-through vaccine clinics for pets this month, helping keep our furry friends healthy. The city held a clinic this weekend at Beale Park in central Bakersfield, giving free microchips and vaccines for a reduced price. State law says all dogs over the age of 3 months old need to be vaccinated against rabies and licensed with the state.
First and foremost, we're promoting responsible pet ownership by offering these clinics, and it's a great perk that we come to the neighborhood versus having to go to a specific location.
The city's holding another clinic this month. The next one's happening at Martin Luther King Jr. Park Saturday on September 18th at 9 a.m. The city plans to hold 2 more in October. For more information, check out our website, kget.com. 17 Health Watch now. September is National Suicide Prevention and Recovery Month, and one local group is shining a light on mental health, sparking conversation on a topic that is often stigmatized. Next Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon, The Next Steps is hosting a ceremony for a design project at Mount Vernon Bridge in East Bakersfield. Sometimes used as a place for people who feel hopeless, organizers hope to repurpose the bridge and give it new meaning.
We're naming the bridge of hope, so we do want to give that community a breath of fresh air and just really revamp that area for them and get them involved, really having them hands-on.
Mo Ali with The Next Steps wants the bridge to be a collaborative project. She's encouraging local artists to come out and showcase what hope means to them in art form. If you or anyone you know is struggling, there are people ready to help. You can call Kern County's 24-hour crisis line. That's 1-800-991-5272. And the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255.
Welcome back on this Labor Day. It's 5:44. A week after Hurricane Ida made landfall as a powerful Category 4 storm, residents are still finding life extremely difficult. Parts of Louisiana are still flooded as many residents are unable to access their homes. And even more are facing food, water, gas shortages while they battle the heat and humidity. The Louisiana Department of Health said in a tweet that the death toll in the state has climbed to 13. A 74-year-old man died as a result of the heat during the extensive power outage. More than 480,000 people are still in the dark. Just devastating to see these pictures. And yes, they're also dealing with the heat, and they have much higher humidity than we see here in California, even though we've got a hot forecast in store. But they have a lot on their plate right now as they continue the cleanup. Our thoughts and prayers are for all of those affected by Ida.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.